Are you satisfied with what cities and counties are doing? Because a place like LA City, LA County, kind of pushing back on what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, cities, I've been pretty impressed. Counties, no. Counties have been, there's a diffuse nature of leadership in a county. You have multiple members of boards of supervisors, mayor, there's one person accountable. I think Mayor Bass has done a wonderful job. She's been a great partner. You're seeing that down 10.4%, over 10% decline in unsheltered homeless population last year. So that's progress. But I'm not seeing that at the county level. And with all due respect, there's no more excuses. Everything the cities and counties have asked for, the state of California has delivered, and the Supreme Court just delivered. So there's no more excuses. So where's the urgency? Drop everything else. Get out there and address the number 1, 2, and 3 issue in this state with an intensity of purpose. That's the kind of action I want to see. And again, for me, if we don't see it, it's not complicated. We're not going to continue to make the investments in communities that aren't willing to do their part. I will redirect those dollars to counties and cities that are doing their part. And so that's clear.
What does that look like exactly? LA County, the biggest county in the state. 1 out of 4 people live in LA County, and a lot of the county leaders are pushing back on this. So what does that mean for this place?
Well, I mean, LA County can right now move forward with our conservatorship law. They refuse to do it. LA County right now could significantly increase the number of people getting support under the care court. Unprecedented support into the county. Billions and billions of dollars over the last few years. And yet we're seeing the same excuses I've seen for decades. And again, it's not an indictment. These are I say this sincerely, like this is not a fake political thing. Actually, my friends, this is not an indictment of them. It's an institutional construct where people are acting as like they're victims. And they've been using every excuse in the toolkit. I'm just done. Drop everything else. Get out there and address the number 1 issue in the state, in this county, in this region.
With reaction, I'm joined by LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger. What do you think?
He's right. People are fed up, and quite frankly, send the money to the 5th District. We've been doing encampment cleanups, and I've been working with Mayor Bass. Forest Lawn Drive, we got all the RVs cleared out. Up in the Antelope Valley, we've been doing the same thing. I actually brought in the motion to support an amicus brief on Grants Pass. So I hear his frustration. I think where there is a little bit of disconnect is coordination. Because if they're going to do the cleanup on these encampments on state land, we don't want to just move the people into different areas. It's about coordination. And so I've reached out to the governor. I really do believe that there is a misunderstanding, if you will. But at the end of the day, he's absolutely right. My constituents want these encampments cleaned up. People are sick and tired. I'm sick and tired. It's a quality of life issue for the residents living in my district.
So are the other members of the Board of Supervisors with you? Because sometimes you are in a different position than the rest of them. What would they say to what the governor just said?
I can't speak for them. I know that when I brought in the motion for the amicus brief, and actually I thought it was going to be like mom and apple pie. The governor supported it, Mayor, of San Francisco, London Breed, and I thought, how bad can this be? And I got 3 votes out of 5. So, I think there's frustration. I know when the order came down, when the governor talked about doing the encampment cleanup and issued his order, there was no coordination. And, I just want to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. So I'm not going to get into an argument with the state over whose responsibility it is, because at the end of the day, the people that I talk to just want it fixed. They're sick of the finger pointing, and so am I. So I'm going to take responsibility. I agree with him. We have the tools in the toolbox to get it done. We have to build housing. We have to build, temporary housing. The mayor and I have talked about emergency shelters being brought in immediately because of not only cold weather, but for the heat. So we've got the ability to do it. We just have to have the will to get it done.
Because there's a lot of people that are listening to this that are like, state spent $24 billion and the problems got worse. Why is it going to be different this time? Why should we trust it's going to be different this time?
Money is not the problem. And I've said that. I said it when we would measure HPAS. We got $350 million a year, and we didn't move the needle. You have to have the will. And it is making difficult decisions. And I go out to the cleanups, and I tell the people, I'm not trying to be mean. We've given you notice. We've let you know that we're going to be cleaning this area up. And if you don't accept housing, we are going to move and just get rid of all the stuff, because people have a right to a quality of life within their neighborhoods. So we've been doing this in the 5th District. I figured better to ask for forgiveness and permission. The fact that the Supreme Court overturned Grant Pass was actually not something I was surprised about, but we've done it in a way that's compassionate. The difference is the governor's giving 48 hours notice. We would do about a 2-week outreach, and then we just go in and say, we're done. If you don't accept housing, you're out.
Let's talk about another issue, which is the men's central jail. There's been an effort over the years to close it, and now it seems to be a bit of a realization that maybe you need a jail. Talk about where we're at on that.
I've had that realization from day one. I voted to close Men's Central Jail. It needs to be torn down. I have maintained, based on experts that have provided reports to us, both those that are experts on diversion and those that also know how to build jails and understand the penal system, and all have said that it needs to be replaced. Finally, on Tuesday last week, the sheriff came in and talked about the need for what he calls a care campus. I don't care what you call it. We need to replace Men's Central Jail with a facility for those that cannot be put into a diversion program in the community. And finally, we got a little traction on Tuesday, and I seized the moment, and I begged for no more motions to study, because we've studied this to death. We all know what needs to be done. It's similar to what we just talked about, Alex, with the homeless. We need the will to do what's right.
So is the will there? Is there the votes to actually do that? And is there a realization that some dudes are so bad that they need to be behind bars?
Based on the conversation, one of my colleagues said the question is not do we need it, it's where it's going to be placed. And that told me that maybe there is a shift taking place. We haven't taken the vote, but I can tell you that I have been, this has been my number one issue when I go out into my communities. I've talked to all the law enforcement agencies. This is a real issue that needs to be addressed. And if we don't address it, the Department of Justice may come in and do it for us.
So what's a timeline for building something else?
Oh, it's going to be, I mean, by the time we approve it and get it done, it's going to be probably a good 4 to 5 years out.
Oh, sooner than I would expect. Faster than government moves on some things. Yeah.
Ouch.
Some big changes could be coming to the Board of Supervisors. There is a movement to expand it from 5 members to 9 members. When the vote happened on that, you abstained. Voters in November may get to vote on this. I know you're limited on what you can say. What can you say? Why did you choose to abstain?
I'm speaking for myself as a citizen. The expansion of the board is a Trojan horse to get an elected CEO in office, and that CEO is going to oversee a $46 billion project or budget, and is going to have virtually their own ability to do whatever they want. The board will now be really just simply, as I call it, a ribbon cutting and overseeing commissions. I truly do believe that this is being used to create one more layer of bureaucracy. I think it is a huge mistake. I was open to looking at expanding the board. I still don't believe that is necessary if you look at what this board does in terms of unincorporated. But I was willing to at least look at what number might work. The CEO elected position killed it for me, and the word reform is being used because people do want government reform. But I have yet to talk to anyone that believes bigger government is better. And I can tell you, with elected CEO, it is going to be an epic, epic nightmare for this county. And it will not affect me. I will be turned out. But I will tell you, I've worked for this county for 35 years. And I've said I want to leave it better than I found it. And this is definitely not one thing that would make it better.
Wow. All right. That's pretty definitive. But do we think that voters are going to have the say on this in November?
Oh, they're going to have to say that the board pushed three of my colleagues pushed it through, and it's going to be on the ballot. But make no mistake, I'm going to be very vocal with my concerns. And again, it's not about me protecting my territory. This is about truly doing what's right for government. And this is truly something that is going to be, I believe, disastrous for this county.
Well, whether you agree with you or not, we appreciate the fact that you speak your view clearly. We understand where you're coming from, and you're willing to come on and make your case. Catherine Barger, LA County Board of Supervisors member, really appreciate it. Always great to talk with you.